What is up, guys? Welcome back to MMA Hub, breaking down UFC 252, Stipe versus DC number 3, the trilogy. Fucking main card is fucking stacked. Prelims not so much, but let's jump straight into it either way. Kicking off the card, we got Kai Kamaka, $1.48 favourite versus Tony Kelly. Look, Kai, I think he's going to win it. He's got 2 wins in Bellator. He moved to Legacy, got a fight win there, took his record to 7-2. He's on a 5-fight win streak, all via decision. Tony comes in off a guillotine choke win in his last fight. Besides that, he's got a 5-1 record. He also has the height advantage. I just don't think it's enough. He hasn't been as active as Kai. Only 1 fight in the last 4 years. It's like, bro, are you even a fighter? But anyway, look, Kai's had 6 in that time, so I'm taking the more active fighter here. I watched a bit of Kai. He's a strong fighter, good chin, wrestling background, so he'll scuff those takedown attempts, won't go to the ground, and I'd say Kamaka takes it as the more active fighter. I'd say takes it via decision once again, so let's make that 6-fight win streak, brother. Moving on, we've got Chris Daukaus, $2.05 versus Parker Porter, the favourite at $1.77. Both of them are terrible fighters. Daukaus with a record of 8-3. He is the bigger fighter. He does have no notable fights or wins, but look, he is a bigger fighter, so it's heavyweight, who the fuck knows. Porter's 9-5 record is fucking shocking, but technically he's won his last 5. The last loss he had was a disqualification, so, I mean, do you really count that as a loss? He's got a better portfolio of fights, notably against Gonzaga and John Jones early in his career, so if that helps his case, then I'm taking it. I probably will leave this fight out, but solely based on the streak and the better fighters faced, I'd pick Porter to win via stoppage, TKO or submission. Either way, you can probably bet that this fight does not go the distance. Another safe bet there. But moving on, we've got Ashley Yoder, $2.35 versus Lavinia Souza, favourite at $1.57. Look, I'm just going to ignore the records of both these fighters and focus more so once again on the quality of the fighters they've faced in the competition. And when you compare the pair, Yoder has surely fought more notable women in the UFC as opposed to Lavinia Souza. I think that'll give her the edge over Souza. Other than that, she's also got a fucking 6.5-inch reach advantage, which is a lot, especially for women as well. Like, she's a bigger fighter, taller fighter. I think the underdog gets it done. Money going to Ashley Yoder. Otherwise, you could probably bet goes the distance as well. So I might do that, put that in for a cheeky little punt. But moving on, we've got TJ Brown, $1.60 versus Danny Chavez, $2.28. TJ Brown's a grappler, 14-7 record, won 4 of his last 5. Danny Chavez, 10-3. He won 3 of his last 5, so I guess pretty similar in that regard. But Danny Chavez is taking this fight on late notice, so that's a big thing. He's also the older fighter. And keep in mind, so his style is a very explosive fighter. He'll want to start strong, probably try and get a first-round KO. I don't think he will, though. I think TJ Brown knows the game plan. He knows that he's taking it on late notice. Danny Chavez won't want this round or won't want this fight to go past the first round, so he'll try and end it in the first. I'd say Brown plays it smart, plays it safe. He's the big guy. He missed weight by half a pound, if that helps. I'd say he takes him down, wears him out, and eventually submits him in the third. Let's go TJ Brown, the favourite, submission in the third round. Moving on, we got Felice Herrig, $3.40 versus Verna Jandiroba, $1.30 favourite. Look, I think this fight can go either way. I don't know why it's $1.30. I think it could be pretty split in terms of the fucking odds. A lot of hype in regards to Jandiroba's record, 15-1. I don't think it's that good because the people she's versed aren't anyone of substance, so take that as you will. My gut's kind of going with Felice Herrig for the win, like a decision win or some shit, based on her experience in the opponent's face once again. But I can also see this fight being finished by Jandiroba via submission. So, look, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to go with the favourite here, Jandiroba, $1.30. I'd say she gets it via submission. But, look, I'll probably leave this fight out as well. Just because, I mean, look, I haven't really watched a lot of these two fighters' fights. So, fuck it, let's just go Jandiroba submission. Moving on, we got Jim Miller, $2.10 versus Van Pichel, the favourite, $1.72. This will be a good fight. I'm actually keen for this one. Both of them are fairly solid fighters, coming off wins over the same guy. So I feel like Jim Miller's win over that guy was more convincing as opposed to Vince Pichel. He's also the more experienced and more active of the two fighters. He's got a record of 32-14, and he's had 2 fights just this year, one of them being the win. Vince Pichel, on the other hand, his last fight was over a year ago, and his fight prior to that was a year before that, so fucking fairly out of it. I just feel like at 37 years old, you'd assume that he's not the same fighter that he once was, especially if he isn't taking that many fights. Taking a year break between fights is a fucking long time, so you get ring rust. I'd say Jim Miller is a more active fighter. I'm putting my cash on him to win via decision or sub. So that's the prelims covered. Just to sum it up, I got Kai Kamaka, Parker Porter, Ashley Yoder, TJ Brown, Verno Jandaroba, Jim Miller. Moving on to the main card to kick it off, we got Herbert Burns, a favourite, $1.30. Good fight here versus Daniel Pineda. Look, Burns comes in, he's 5 for 5 of his last fights, 4 of those 5 being first round stoppages. The guy doesn't fuck around, doesn't waste time, he gets it done. Very talented like his brother. I was already swaying towards him being the bigger fighter, the better fighter, but the fact that he didn't make weight, he's 3.5 pounds over, he's going to be a lot heavier, man, so it's going to be a big advantage in his favour. Pineda, he's an experienced fighter, has gone 5 for 5 in his last 5 fights as well. But the last 2 wins were overturned due to substances in his system there. He claimed to be dick pills, but look, fucking, what air raid is that? Like, we all know what you're doing, bruv. Anyway, he doesn't have that many notable wins or fights, so I can't comment on that. Let's just say he's clean from whatever he was on, or whatever hormones, whatever happened there. Let's say he's clean now. Whatever he was taking, whatever had happened, would that mean he's a weaker fighter now? And especially moving up in competition against a person like Herbert Burns, I'm not willing to risk money on that, so I'm taking Herbert Burns as a safe bet here. I'd say Burns puts him away in the second round easily. Let's go stoppage fight, TKO or submission. Moving on to an explosive fight here. John Dodson, $3.02 underdog versus Merab Dvalishvili, $1.37 favourite. Fuck, man, it's going to be a sick fight. I'm actually keen for this fight. Both guys are very elite fighters. Dodson's a quick fucking savage, little savage guy. Dvalishvili's takedown machine. His last fight, he fucking broke some record. He broke his own record or some shit for takedowns. Look, I'd say Dvalishvili, he wears Dodson down. Dodson loses his power, his explosiveness throughout the fight, gets a bit weaker. But don't get me wrong, if Dodson lands a punch, he can KO. He can definitely get the KO over Dvalishvili here. I just think Dvalishvili is more efficient with his takedowns and uses them more to his advantage and more to the fact to actually win the fight in this fight. So, look, I'm going to go cash on Dvalishvili. Dodson's quick though. There'll be some good scrambles there. It'll be a good fight for the first few rounds. But I just don't think he has enough to get it done over Dvalishvili there. So I'd say Dvalishvili smothers him, gets it done via decision because, look, Dodson's never been finished, so I doubt that's going to happen now. Moving on, we've got JDS. This is going to be a fucking sick fight as well. JDS versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik, $1.72 favourite in Rozenstruik. JDS is the underdog. Junior Dos Santos. Look, man, I fucking love JDS, but I think if he's dumb enough to stand and bang with Rozenstruik after getting KO'd... but then again, Rozenstruik got KO'd as well, and the thing is, he hasn't waited long till this fight either. It's only been like fucking 3 months since he got KO'd fucking from Ngannou. And look, people will rule out Rozenstruik after seeing that, but he's a fucking elite fighter, elite kickboxer. He didn't have a chance to fucking do anything against Ngannou. No one has a chance to do shit like that against... When Ngannou's flowing against you, you can't do shit. You just take those punches and sit the fuck down. That's what happens. So, to take this fight in 3 months after that happened, either Rozenstruik is really fucking stupid, really dumb, or he doesn't feel that, affected from that knockout. So, I'm hoping that is the case, because if that is the case, I see him winning this fight against JDS. I don't trust JDS's chin. I trust his talent. Yeah, he's very talented, but I feel like the only way he wins this is via ground and pound, unless fucking Rozenstruik's chin has given up and he lands a fucking uppercut or some shit, then either way, there might be a fucking KO in this fight. My cash is going to go to Rozenstruik though, because, look, if his chin holds up after that Ngannou fight, he's an elite kickboxer, ungodly strength, which we've seen time and time again. I think he has that one-punch power that'll topple JDS. JDS's chin is no better anyway, so both of them fucking, if they got rusty chins, one of them's getting knocked out. I'd rather put the cash on the younger fighter there. Rosenstruik's taken to 1 KO. Moving on, Sean O'Malley, $1.32 versus Marlon Vera, $3.30. And look, to this, I actually think this is a bad matchup for Vera. I don't think this is a good... Look, Vera, I fucking rate I rate him as a fighter. He's a very good fighter. I think it'll be a challenge for O'Malley. It'll be different to what he's faced in the past. But at the same time, I don't. Because O'Malley, he's a very smart fighter. Like, I feel like he's watched Vera's tapes. He knows how Vera fights. And Vera starts slow. He doesn't always start explosive. O'Malley does. And I feel like for Vera to have a chance in this fight, he needs to control the pace. And I feel like controlling the pace against O'Malley is a very hard thing to do because he's so unpredictable, so flashy, and he starts off strong. His kicks, his strikes, he keeps his distance. He's in, he's out. So he's always moving. It's hard to keep the tempo, hard to, I guess, initiate that with O'Malley, especially in the first couple of rounds. So I think Vera will have a hard time to, I guess, get the ball in his court. O'Malley's, of course, undefeated. Vera's on a 5-fight win streak, questionable loss to Song Yudong. And look, it'll be a good fight. I mean, look, Vera always has a chance of winning. I don't think the odds should, I guess, in that case, be that far apart as well. Vera can submit him if it gets to later rounds. But I just don't see him keeping pace with O'Malley there. Sugar Sean takes it. I'd say Sugar Sean, he gets the fucking tempo started early. I'd say his kicks play a big part in this fight as well. Keep the distance. And yeah, he'll get through Marlon Vera. I'd say there's a lot more we've got to see from Sean O'Malley. And I'd say the Sugar Show lives on. So let's go. I'm keen for this one. And now moving on to the main fight. Stipe Miocic, $1.95 underdog versus DC favourite, $1.85. And fuck, man, this is a hard fight to call. A very hard fight to call. So many different opinions on, to be honest, it's really a 50-50 fight. Like, there's arguments on how both fighters can actually win this fight. Let's start with Stipe. I'd say his key to victory is body shots, body shots, body shots. And, sorry, 2 seconds. Sorry about that, my computer just locked. But getting back to that, so let's start with Stipe. Key to victory, body shots. Fucking 100%. It worked in the last fight. Why would you change that? It worked. It worked. It worked for John Jones. It worked for a few fights before that. DC is vulnerable to body shots. That's just his thing. He hasn't adapted his game to the body shots. So if it works, why not abuse it? So the thing is, when does he start using him? That's the thing. So we'll see. If Stipe wants to win this, I'd say he probably lets Cormier wrestle him for the first 2 rounds, let DC tire himself out, and we know that Stipe, he can fuck up DC's attempts. Like, he can stop these takedowns. He can even get his own takedowns. I'd say his key to victory is let DC tire himself out. We'll see if DC's cardio gets tested. In the meantime, fire some good body shots, get those in, get DC worrying, get him to drop his hands, come up high to the head, get him rocked. If he gets DC tired coming into the 3rd round, I'd say once again start to pick up, get some shots in to the body, to the head, and after that, Stipe will pick him apart like the last fight, and it'll probably end in a TKO. Hopefully, though, if it gets to that point, I hope DC can, last and stay on his feet, go to the judges' scorecard. But look, on paper, Stipe is looking good. It's more realistic, more likely to occur, and probably a safer bet that Stipe does take it, but I'm not going to go for it. What I think the outcome will be, solely based on the fact that it depends on which DC turns up. Whether we get dad, retired DC, or if we get champ DC. If he plays it smart, if he gives it his all for his final legacy fight, put yourself in DC's shoes. It's the most important fight of your whole fucking career. Like, you'll do anything to win. Eye pokes, takedowns, hold him down for fucking 5 rounds, and just wear him the fuck out. Do a ground and pound, do a fucking Hamzat Chimaev fucking type thing, do a fucking Khabib type fight. Like, you'll just fucking want to win it, man. End of the day, the only thing I'm concerned about is him dropping his hands to stop the body shots, or if he isn't cautious about the body shots, it goes for too many takedowns, gets scuffed, and then gets fucking burnt out, and Stipe takes him. So I'm hoping with the smaller cage, it obviously should work to DC's advantage, but I'm assuming Stipe's been working on his fucking takedown defense as well, so it's a fucking hard fight to call, man. It's a hard fight to call. I'm just hoping that DC, it really depends on the game plan and what actually happens in the fight, and the mentality of the fighters. I feel like both of them will be prepared for this fight. They know it's it's the biggest fight in both their careers. Like, you don't get bigger than this. So it really depends on who implements their game plan better. I'm hoping DC's got it. I have a gut feeling Stipe probably will get the win. I mean, because on paper, everything points towards Stipe. But I'm just hoping the fairy tale gods write a good story, write a good end to DC's career, let him get the win there. Hopefully, if his cardio holds up, he can go the full 5. Otherwise, look, takedown, potential TKO on Stipe. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I'm just ready to enjoy the fight. I'll probably fucking hedge the bet either way. So that way I can kick back, enjoy the fight, not worry about who wins. Pretty much to sum it up though, for the main card, I'm taking DC, O'Malley, Rosenstruik, Devilishi and Herbert Burns. So pretty much all the fucking favourites. I'm a favourite whore, whatever. Then to double your cash, my go-to bet for the card, it's going to be Kai Kamaka, Herbert Burns and Sugar Sean O'Malley, bruvs. Let's get it. Once again, not financial advice. Bet at your own discretion, and let's fucking make some dosh and enjoy the fights. Take care, boys and girls, whoever watches it. Yallah.